That had like a little Star Wars sound effect in there too. That was awesome. What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown City Geekcast, the weekly geekiest show in all the world at this very moment. My name is Steady. With me on this episode is the one and only Joe Garcia. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm not watching this national championship game between Alabama and Georgia. It's a little boring, so
I,
we're
you
out
know,
here doing this instead.
yeah, if you want to take a break from the national championship game, pause it, hit record on your device and watch us, and then just go check it out later on, and it'll be awesome that way because you get to hang out with us, and we love that. We love hanging out with you guys and getting you guys to join in on the discussion, which is going to be awesome today because today we are talking about episode 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. Dun dun dun. And like I mentioned, we want to hear from you guys. If you've seen episode 2, let us know what you thought about it. What was your favorite part? Tell us your favorite Easter egg. What did you not like about it? What are your theories going forward? Drop all of those in the chat. We'll call them out. We want to have a great time chatting all about the Star Wars universe with you guys. And then later on in the show, we're going to talk about some geeky weekly headlines because there were some big reveals today in the DC world that I can't wait to talk about. So I'll be sure to do that as well. But we're gonna go ahead right now and talk about episode 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. Episode 2, which is titled. Actually, I don't know what it's titled. Give me a second. Uh, uh, Oh, just chapter 2. They just go by chapters. Yeah.
It's
And
called the Tribes of Tatooine.
say what?
The Tribes of Tatooine.
Okay, okay. Let's see here. Episode 2, which starts off in a very familiar situation. We are actually in Jabba's palace, and Fennec Shand actually grabs one of the assassins from the previous episode. If you remember, we left episode 1 with a few assassins trying to take out Boba. And there was like a rooftop chase scene. Well, Fennec kills all but one. They drag Homeboy into Jabba's palace, and the familiar situation I was talking about is that Fennec says maybe he'll talk with the Rancor involved, and they drop Homeboy Assassin down into the pit, and I'm getting flashbacks. And of course, we all know this because this is where Luke fought the Rancor all the way back from episode 6, Return of the Jedi. And in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. There shouldn't be one. There shouldn't be one. There shouldn't be one. And sure enough, like, Homeboy Assassin starts talking, but there's no Rancor because he's
Oh
been
no, yeah,
killed
yeah.
several years ago.
He starts talking. He's like, "Who sent you?" And they're like, "Yeah, I don't want to say." And he tells Boba Fett off, and he's like, "After I spared your life, you're gonna curse me out." That's when they feed him to the Rancor. And then he's like, "It was the mayor. The mayor sent me."
The mayor did it. Yeah. But freaking awesome. Like, we get to see all these things again, and it's nostalgia and it's bringing back memories and all that. But it was just so funny that there shouldn't be a Rancor, and sure enough, like, it was just a bluff. There's not supposed to be one unless unless you are watching the Bad Batch, which season 1 dropped last year, and Jericho and I just reviewed an episode where they got the replacement Rancor. So Bib Fortuna actually hired the Bad Batch crew to go hunt down a Rancor, and it was like an infant or young Rancor, and it was Bib's pet. So the Rancor's name is Moochie.
Yeah,
I
I
think it
remember
was,
that one.
I was pretty sure it was Moochie. And so it's just like, okay, there's no Rancor, but where's Moochie? We should at least see Moochie. I guess that's not. No, it's already happened. So it should have happened already. I thought we didn't see the original, but I thought maybe we'd see Moochie, but I guess not. So maybe something else happened that we don't know about yet. Maybe that'll be a thing that we find out later
Maybe
on, all about what
maybe
happened
when
to
he
Moochie.
killed Bib Fortuna, maybe the Moochie handler set him free, or took him with him.
Absolutely. That could be what it is. But it was just so freaking cool that we got just all those scenes. So next we actually get sort of a big reveal. Boba heads over to the mayor and was like, "What's up, bro?" And mayor was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, man." So, do you have a theory about what's going on between the mayor, his assistant, and Boba right now? Is somebody playing the mayor? Is it the assistant that's playing the mayor?
Not the assistant. It's the Huts that are playing everybody. The Huts are still in control, even though, excuse me, Boba thinks, you know, he's the new daimyo or whatever that he gave himself the acronym of. I'm the new sheriff here. He really hasn't been formally introduced as such. He's just assuming the role and saying, I'm your sheriff now. I'm the guy who's in charge of this territory." But there hasn't been a formal introduction giving him that acronym to power. So he's still learning that, even though he thinks he's, the guy, and he's living in Jabba's palace, there's still a lot that he doesn't know. And he's finding out that he thinks that was it the Night's Wind or something like that thing that's they're called the assassins, um,
Yeah.
that came after him. They were sent by the mayor, but the mayor's kind of telling him, "Look, it's nothing personal, bro. I was told to send this to you, to send them after you, because the Huts wanted that to happen." You know, and that's when he couldn't tell him, "Oh, the Huts told me to do this." He just said, "Go back to that little, the bar or whatever they have, the where they do the gambling and all that.
Yeah.
Go see what's happening." He gave him that hint. And that's when he's Boba will go and find out a little bit more about what's going on. But it's the Huts that are still pulling the strings behind everything, and they're still, for all intents and purposes, the leaders, or the guys that own that territory. It's not Boba yet.
Yeah, they're leaders in some regard, or at least they feel like they're owed it because they're related to Jabba. So these are the twins, and we got a photo of them up at the bottom here. Real quick, let me take. There you go.
Yeah, it's
Photo
Nala.
at the bottom here.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
No, that's the name of the Huts. Not it's Nala Hut or something like that. Nala Hut, and I forgot what the other one is.
And what's hilarious is how everybody's struggling to keep them up, like walking around. I just will laugh my ass off when they were walking. I'm like, oh, these poor guys, they just can't hold these dudes up, these twins up. But they actually pull out um, their own bounty hunter. This is Black Chrysanthemum, and him and Boba have a history. They used to actually kind of work either both under Jabba at one point or another, and so they have a history. If what was canon in the comics is canon now, they go way back to like a Vader comic. I can't remember what year it came out, but yeah, so diehard Star Wars fans know who this dude is, and know he's a formidable opponent if things go down between him and Boba. So that was really cool that they're busting out sort of the deep cuts for the Star Wars fans. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, for fans that kind of followed that, they know that he's a gladiator. He was kind of like a disgrace to the race, kind of sort of speaking. So he was kicked off his home world.
Yeah, he
Of
was
Kashyyyk.
banished from Kashyyyk. Yeah,
Yeah, so eventually he finds out that there's this gladiator ring going on, and he wants in. So he kind of leaves bait out there for these was it Transdoshans, and he leaves the bait, and it's basically a Wookiee that he inflicted a wound on that's bleeding out, and he left left that as a trap for the Transdoshans, and they come out, and he starts laying waste to them, and he keeps one alive, and he it's the captain of the ship basically, and he's like,
Yeah.
I want you to take me to was it the what was the name of that place? The Zonti brothers or something like that that are running this gladiator thing. So they let him get on the ship because if not, he's gonna kill him, you know. So they take him back, and that's how he gets into the gladiator part of aspect of his storyline here. And lo and behold, sooner or later he crosses paths with Boba because they're both gonna, like you said, eventually wind up being employed by none other than Jabba the Hutt to do his underworld dealings. They're kind of the enforcers, so they do Jabba's light work.
Absolutely. Oh man. So all that happens, all that goes down, and then Boba goes back to his Bacta tank, and then we start getting dreams again. And this time he's going back to kind of where we left off. These dreams are somehow in chronological order, but that's fine, no big deal. And this time he's actually remembering sort of training more with the Sand People and them coming across this sort of, I don't even know what it's called, but it's this like desert train, and it's being it's transporting this sort of bikerish gang. And it's it's interesting that we're getting so many sort of reasons to understand um these raiders a little bit more. We don't know a lot about them from the previous films, but one of the cool things that Dave Filoni and John Favreau do is they give you deeper glimpses into things that we have not known about before. Like Baby Yoda was a big one. We had never seen um, an infant sort of Yoda species before, so now we finally do, and that was opening that whole new kind of realm into that area. And so now this is one where these Tuscan Raiders, were learning more about them. They have a culture. They they have sort of spiritual dances, and they stick lizards up your nose because it's a spiritual journey to creating your weapon. And their weapons, they have like deeper meanings than just tools.
Excuse
And
me.
so Boba kind of being going through all of those things, being accepted by these people after he's helped a few of them already from the previous episode, and now going to this one, he sees what this train just going through the desert, taking shots at them, is doing, and decides, hey, I'm gonna go after them, and I'm also gonna kind of gain some more trust from these Tuscan Raiders. So, kind of your thoughts about that, man. What are your thoughts about him getting in better with the Tuscan Raiders, going after the biker gang, taking them out pretty handedly, and then kind of getting in deeper with the Sand People.
Well, one of the things that originally like caught my interest about Boba is from the first episode, even going back to the first episode, a lot of fans were saying, "Why doesn't he just escape and take off?" But I'm like, he's in the middle of Tatooine. He's in the middle of a desert. Like, how long do you think he's gonna last without no water
Where's
and
he gonna
no
go, bro?
transportation? Where are you gonna go? If he runs anywhere, he's gonna die of thirst.
Or
And there's a
or a
lot of
monster or an alien,
yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot of other things that are out there that are more treacherous than the Sand People. He's
Yep.
kind of safe where he's at, and not only that, but without the armor, to kind of protect him, I think he's figuring out that he needs to learn more about the culture and the ways of the Sand People in order for him to truly be able to leave and survive on his own, you know? because he is a warrior, you know, in his own right, you know. So Boba kind of understands the Sand People. It's nothing personal with the Sand People. They always think that they're savages because they remind me a lot of the native tribes, the Native Americans. You know, um, there's more to them than just the savagery. You know, them being mindless warriors and all that. They're not. They're just doing what comes natural to them. They're very deep rooted with the land around them and with the culture, you know, and everybody sees them as savages, and that's not the truth. It's just this is their way of life, and it's kind of stark from what other people think of civility or being civilized is. When you're out in a harsh environment, you kind of gotta live a certain way. And while it might mean it seems harsh to other people, this is their way of life. There's no in between. In other words, you either are a sand person or you're not. And if you're not, you're dead. You know, so that's where Boba is in this plight right now. He's being accepted. He's uh, being given a chance to prove his self worth. You know,
Yeah.
to kind of rise up within the ranks. In order to be accepted by the people, you have to show you're worthy. And I think that's what Boba's been doing since the first episode, kind of showing that he is worthy of getting the knowledge, you know, and actually showing that he's learning their ways and proving that he can be a part of this tribe. You know, and by him going out there and kind of seeing the savagery of the Pike syndication, because they're the ones that are on that train and they're
Yeah.
just taking out the Sand People, which are, you know, for all intents and purposes, his tribe members. He's part of this tribe right now, you know. He's a prospect. And the thing is like people fail to realize like even a Tuscan like a Tuscan Raider, you know, they're given a bantha at an early age when they're a kid. And when they're given the bantha, that's something that they raise for their entire lives. So if somebody goes and just kills them, you know, that's like killing a member of their family. And that's what you see right away. They shoot the bantha there, and to the Pike's indication, they don't know the significance. It's just an animal, and we're just shooting it. But it's deeper than that. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Avatar, where they're just trees. It's more than just that. You know, it's part of the culture, and once you understand that, you understand their way of living and what they wind up, you know, doing out there. So Boba seeing all this, you know, and going out there and getting these speeder bikes, I think what they thought he was gonna go out there and just destroy the train, but what he was doing, he was giving them a means to kinda liberate themselves from their their villain, you know, which is their persecutor, which is the train coming out here and laying waste to them. And it's funny to me because he comes back and he's like, "Oh, I'm giving." He's talking to the tribe leader, right? And he's like, "Oh, I'm giving you a present." And what do the Sand People immediately do? They start trying to wreck shop and take them apart. And he's like, "No, no, no, these are mine. I'm going to show you how to ride them." And that's when the funny part starts because he's trying to show this one Tuscan Raider to jump off one speeder bike and then jump on the other speeder bike that he's on. And the guy falls off, and then the other Tuscan Raider that's behind him kind of goes over him, runs him over when the guy fell down already. So they're learning, but they're very capable of being taught stuff. And I think this is a great representation of that. They're just not mindless savages. They can be taught to do things just as they're teaching Boba to be, you know, teaching him to be a sand person. He in turn is teaching them to use these machines that they see the off-worlders using, you know. So he's showing them, hey, these are tools that you can utilize to do more things, you know. So they're learning from each other, and I think that's the cool part of this whole thing is it's just not one-sided. It's really a symbiotic relationship there. So I like the whole dynamic of the episode showing the Tuscans as more than just savages, but you know, they're very um, deep people, you know, deep rooted in their culture, and learning more and more about that. That's something that we've never really got to see in movies. You know, we just kind of see, oh, it's a sand person, but we didn't really know what they are all about. And I think the Book of Boba Fett is bringing that to light, which is it's like two stories almost, Ted. It's the story of Boba Fett trying to rise to power, but also the backstory of how he became the person that he is on the screen. In other words, the person that we're seeing in The Mandalorian, the person that we're seeing right now in the Book of Boba, everything has more significance now, you know?
Absolutely. I could not agree more. It's giving us new insight to Tatooine, which we thought we knew like the back of our hand already. But we're realizing that there's like way more to it. And then we got a deep cut Easter egg, if you will. The cantina, everything's a cantina unless they tell me otherwise. That Boba heads to find the Pike Syndicate, and they're like messing with like a couple or something sitting down inside. There's a deleted scene from Star Wars, like episode 4. And in that is Luke Skywalker hanging out with like a group of his peers. And well, it turns out two of those individuals from that deleted scene are the two individuals sitting down in this cantina slash restaurant, whatever. And so I'm like, dude, that's a freaking deep cut, man. A deleted scene from the original Star Wars film. Like, that's pretty awesome that they would go to those lengths and like bring back some like real deep cut characters that we've
The
not even
detail.
seen in a theatrical release or anything like that. So good on them for doing that. I love the montage of Boba, training the Tusken Raiders to ride and to jump. Like um it's very reminiscent of some other kind of movies that I've talked about in the past about Boba Fett. This gives me major vibes from The Last Samurai, which was feels like 20 years ago now, but it's probably like maybe 15, 12 years ago. Starred Tom Cruise. He was an American soldier. I'm gonna guess like the 1700s, maybe, or no, no, no. Let's just go with like mid 1800s. I think we'll go with that. And he was um, attacked by an ancient sort of samurai tribe with like deep ancient roots in Japan, and they were having their own civil war with this new army faction in Japan that was using more modern weapons and everything. But this ancient samurai group, they decided to spare Tom Cruise's life, and then they sort of indoctrinated him and taught him their ways, and he in return like helped them fight against this more modern regime that was taking over Japan by teaching them how to use either not modern weapons, but teaching them the sort of new strategies and whatnot. So it's I'm getting some of those vibes a little bit, but it's not like one for one or anything like that. But it's like very reminiscent of that kind of a story. So Boba trains a lot with sort of this warrior individual. And then they decide they're going to use these speeder bikes and take down the freaking train, the freighter that's going down. And we got a pretty cool action sequence from there with them chasing this train, hopping along the tops of the cars, fighting along the tops. They had some great sequences where, like, the droid in the front of the engine room kept like boosting the train every couple of minutes, and they would start frying the Pike Syndicate members when they were standing like directly in front of the engine, and it was pretty awesome. Really cool action sequence, a lot of great moments. Really enjoyed it. Lost a lot of the Sand People warriors as well. Like they took a pretty good loss, and it was very visible on the face of Boba every time he would lose someone because he was sort of like taken back for a second. And the goal was never to lose anybody, but you can kind of see that the loss of these individuals is affecting him in some way.
And one of the people that was lost, I don't know if you go back and watch the episode, it was a child, one of the Sand
Was it?
People children. Yeah.
It wasn't the child though, right?
No, it wasn't the kid that he became friends with. It was somebody else.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he kind of because he showed that for a split second real quick. They didn't want to focus on it too much, but you can tell that kind of bothered him.
Hmm.
You know, that I think that's one of the things that really stayed with him. You know, that not only was he losing members of the tribe, but was losing the children as well. You know,
No, I totally agree. Because it was the one that he was carrying to this funeral pyre that they had set up, and they were burning bodies. And yeah, he was carrying one of the younglings
yeah.
of the Sand People, and he was taken back. That's one of the reasons why he's putting his life on the line. He's like, this is wrong. We're finding out that this Boba Hunter has a pretty solid moral compass, if you ask me.
I don't
Um,
know if it's the moral compass. I just think that his culture is more in line with what the Sand People are. They're both a warrior culture, you know? So, like I was saying, even though it seems very savage, there's a lot of similarities between the Mandalorians and the Sand People. And I think he's kind of noticing that more and more. That's why I think they're able to kind of communicate with one another and kind of understand each other. Cause, like I said, he's used to that savagery. Because it's a warrior race, you know?
yeah, yeah. And I actually would say that there's probably a little bit more of a moral compass than we thought. And I only say that because he doesn't have to do any of these things. They've already spared his life. He can just hang back and keep his head down and wait for his moment to get away and all that. But no, he's actually risking his neck to go out there and advance this tribe. I mean, let's be honest, like they're not only teaching him like their ways of crafting a weapon and their style of fighting, but in return, he's teaching them how to use modern technology, these transportation vehicles, strategy of how to take on this fighter train, which they're probably going to use more than one occasion. And even just jumping from one of the speeder bikes to another, I mean, that's teaching them something. It's really advancing their little tribe they got going on here.
Yeah, I don't
And
think he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart, though. There's always an agenda.
ooh,
There's always an agenda to everything,
possibly.
and what he's doing is he knows damn well what he wants. He wants to go there and get revenge on Bib Fortuna, you know, because they left him there to rot. They left him there for dead. And in order for him to rise to power, he knows that he's going to have to learn the ways of the Sand People because what's there on Tatooine? Nothing but sand, you know? So I think by him learning their ways and being accepted in the tribe, the agenda is he can use the Sand People to his benefit. You know, I think they're gonna play a bigger role somewhere in the future of the upcoming episodes. So we're gonna see kind of his plan come to fruition. You know,
That's what I said the last episode. If I wish you were with me and Jason, we talked about it. But I think the reason why he's having all these flashbacks and all these, my son walks in the shot. The reason why he's having all these flashbacks and he's having all these dreams, which some fans out there are either a little irritated about or bored with. I'm not. I know that they have a purpose. And in my opinion, I think that we are going to either see some of these characters come back into the present day, or he's going to need them for something. And in this episode, episode 2, we not only, learn more about this tribe, we also learn that there's multiple tribes. So maybe, just maybe, if there needs to be a little bit of a skirmish and he needs backup reinforcements, if you will, maybe we pull like an avatar or something, and we call upon all the tribes of the Sand People to come together and help defend so and so or whoever else,
well,
anything
he
like
is
that.
part of the tribe, so I mean, he's one of them. So
Absolutely.
you're one of them. You're part of that tribe. But the thing that we don't understand too, just like there's a crime syndicate, we don't exactly know if all the Sand People get along as well, because there could be war between different tribes, you know, or disagreements between certain tribes,
Oh, I'm sure.
and as the leader of the Sand People that he's with right now, kind of hinted to is that they're in hiding, but the other tribes make a living out of killing, you
Yeah.
know? So he doesn't believe in doing that. He just believes in surviving, and staying hidden and quiet and not causing, necessarily going in there and causing a scene. That's how he protects his people, you know?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And at the end of this episode, we actually get sort of the culmination of his transformation. He's got his new wardrobe going on. He already has his weapon. The Raiders all approve, and he's looking pretty chic. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, but all that cloth and stuff like that, those are things that are hard to come by there, so they just don't give it away to just anybody. He had to again prove himself and have the lizard go up his nose. And I read a little bit about that lizard. What it does is actually goes to your brain.
I
So the
bet.
lizard is controlling him for all intents and purposes because how did he get to the tree? That's the thing, the lizard was the guide guiding him, even though he was in this hallucinogenic state. They don't really know the location of the tree. The lizard does, and it takes you there and you come back with the branch, and I guess the bigger the branch, the more powerful a warrior you are. Again, it's a lot of similarities to what happens in the Native American culture, so I kind of like the similarities and the contrast to not it all being just technologically advanced. It has a lot to do with just the land itself, and being by yourself and figuring things out and having to overcome some of your deepest fears. And that's what happens with some of the Native American teachings. In order to be part of the tribe, you're kind of left alone to your own devices in the wild, and they just point you in a direction saying that's the way back to the camp, and hopefully you come back in a couple days, kind of prove your worth, that everything we've taught you, you've put to use, so you can become one of the tribe. And I think that was the beautiful part of the whole thing is showing the tribulation that one Boba Fett had to go through in order just to come back with a branch, and the branch is significant because it does mean that he's part of the tribe, but it's also a weapon. And I think if you have this type of weapon, you can go through the sands of Tatooine, and if you come upon another tribe and you're holding this, they're gonna look at you as one of the Sand people, one of them, you know?
One of us. One of us.
Exactly.
Yeah, he actually goes to this tree and helps grab a branch for his gaffy stick. And, this is, I guess, the very, very last thing that he needs to be a part of them. He is now one of them. He is now one of their warriors. They've fully accepted him and embraced him. And for good reasons, right? He's helped them out so much in such a short amount of time. And it really makes you wonder what's next now? What's the next step after this? Was he ever allowed to just leave? Was he forced to leave? I think we'll probably either, like I mentioned, find out he's going to need this tribe for something in the current timeline, or maybe he was forced to leave because nobody was left. That could also be a thing, and it would be unfortunate, but should he lose this entire tribe, that would be kind of a good reason for him to start moving on with his life and coming into where we met him at with in the Mandalorian season 2. So that's a definite possibility.
Maybe we're
Uh,
gonna see him meet Fennec in the desert.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. So in back in season 1 of the Mandalorian, he was the sort of cloaked figure, right? That found Fennec's body out in the desert. Yeah. So, gonna see if maybe his flashbacks will meet up to that point in time. That's a possibility.
Yeah, and maybe I think that's where the flashbacks will kind of, "Hey, this is where he met Fennec," and they'll kinda show what happened there maybe, and then they're gonna show I think it's gonna end basically where the flashbacks will probably end where he actually sees the crate dragon and, he sees his armor, you know?
Yeah.
and that's be like, okay, because we know what kind of happened after that. I think that's where the flashbacks should end because from that point we're caught up and we're in the present time now. You know.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, that was our discussion on episode 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. If you had a moment you want to talk about, what was your favorite moment? What was your favorite part? What was your favorite Easter egg? Let us know in the comments below. You could always send it to us later by clicking the send message button on Facebook, or you can always email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowntothegeekcast.com. Cool. Well, I had mentioned earlier that there was a bunch of geeky weekly headlines that we need to talk about. And I'm going to bring those up right now, starting with the bombshell that we got today, which was a photo from the set of Batgirl. Batgirl, which is going to be a HBO Max movie, and this is a mural that was going up in Glasgow, and it is a mural of none other than Batman, not just any Batman, but as we've already been told before, this is actually Michael Keaton's Batman that's going to be a part of the Batgirl movie. And as you can already tell, next to Michael Keaton's Batman just so happens to be the boy wonder himself, Robin. Joe, your thoughts on the mural and Keaton's look, which I must say is very different from his original '89 costume, or even the Batman Returns outfit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't expect him to just have the same costume. And as we've seen, the different iterations of even like superhero costumes change. They don't always stay the same. And you would think that, Bruce Wayne, AKA Batman with all that money, is going to always make some upgrades to his suit, so he can continue to fight crime. So it was cool to see this updated look to the costume, and not only that, but seeing Robin on there as well, I thought was pretty dope. Even though when we've seen the trailer, he is not present, so kind of leads you to believe something happened.
Possibly, but we've also already played that game, right? So in the Snyderverse, we actually lost a Robin in that timeline, and if you go by the original plan, it was the death of Dick Grayson. If you go by what they tried to change it to later on, it was probably more likely Jason, based on the first Suicide Squad movie that they released. They actually called out Jason's name, Jason Todd's name, but this one looks kind of more like Burt Ward's Robin, which was also Dick Grayson. So I'm gonna go with this universe's Dick Grayson. Maybe it's Robin from Batman and Robin. Who knows? But there are some major differences in the Keaton sort of style. The logo is very similar to the original '89 logo on his chest, the chest emblem. It's similar. It's a lot of curves, a lot of points. The Batman Returns logo is actually more in line with the 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 old school Batman logo that we're used to seeing. But this one even has sort of the raised neck lining, which we haven't really seen in live action form except for Robert Pattinson's Batman. So now I'm wondering, no, I'm not going to go that far. But it is interesting how like Pattinson's Batman sort of has those raised collars around the neck,
I
and
just
now
think
this
it's
one does
similar.
as well.
I think it's just similar because I believe they've even came out and said that, excuse me, Pattinson's version of Batman is set in a different universe, in a different Earth.
No, I agree. I agree with that. And we know that also because in Batgirl, uh, Jim Gordon is going to be played by J.K. Simmons, and in Pattinson's universe, Jim Gordon is played by Jeffrey Wright. So major differences there, but just interesting how these two Batmen have that sort of raised collar, and we haven't really seen anybody else with that. Looks freaking dope though. The mask also sort of has that new 52 style to it. A few of the cutouts around the top of the cowl, the white eyes, the ears point ever so slightly away from each other, which we're not used to seeing. It's also kind of hard to tell because it's such a worn down wall that they're lugging around. But we also did get a shot of Leslie Grace on the set, and she's actually, let me find that real quick. She's actually sporting a T-shirt with GCPD logo on it. Let me pull that up here.
Oh yeah, I saw that earlier too.
Yeah, so she's got the Gotham City Police Department shirt on. Huge smile on her face. Barbara Gordon, ladies and gentlemen, Barbara Gordon. Round of applause for Barbara. She's living the dream right now. Yeah, freaking awesome. This is going to be a movie straight to HBO Max. I think I'm okay with that. I don't really know exactly what to expect from it. I hope it's a great, just a fantastic film, and I like the cast so far. If they decide to make it a theatrical release, even for a weekend, just do like a limited release, I'd be down with that too, and I would definitely go see it in theaters. But I know that they moved like Blue Beetle from HBO Max release to a theatrical release. I'm more on board with that because it is the first time we're getting a live action Blue Beetle that I know of, at least.
Not only that, but it's big for the Latino community because this is gonna be significant where we're gonna actually get a high level superhero on the big screen. That's important for our culture. You
Yep.
know, African American culture had the Black Panther, and that was significant for them. For us, it's gonna be significant to have Latino representation on the big screen in the form of the Blue Beetle. I think that's gonna be big for this younger generation, and I'm happy for it. I've been waiting for this for a long time, a long time. I think I even told you guys, you and JC, about it a while back. It's like we need a Blue Beetle movie, and I'm glad that we're getting it finally.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Blue Beetle fan. He was done perfectly on Young Justice. When you get to Young Justice season 2, Joe, the majority of that season actually revolves around Jaime Reyes.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I saw Young Justice. I used to watch it with my son when he
oh,
was
okay,
younger.
okay.
Yeah.
You were kind of telling us that you were just starting it from
Oh no,
scratch,
no,
like,
no. I hadn't watched this season. I said I never said I never watched Young Justice.
oh, this season.
Yes.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. All right. Other DC Comics news. We actually got kind of a little bit of a reveal, an accidental reveal regarding a potential villain for Black Adam, which is very peculiar because I always thought Black Adam would sort of be our villain in the Black Adam movie. But now this throws a little bit of a curveball or a wrench into everything. So a recent toy listing, and I believe it was from McFarlane Toys, actually was going down the list of characters that they were releasing in toy figure form, and everybody we'd already known about: Cyclone, Hawkman, Doctor Fate, Shazam, Shazam, who gets his powers from sort of the will of the gods, Hercules and Zeus and Solomon and Achilles. And on that toy listing was also a character we had not been told about before, and that was Sabak. And Sabak gets all of his powers from sort of demonic entities,
Yeah, from
and
hell, basically.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And so now, with that toy listing out there, and we know this is a very villainous character, fans are now leaning heavily towards this is going to be our big bad in the actual Shazam movie. So, what? Not Shazam, Black Adam movie. And so, yeah, Black Adam might go toe to toe with Sabak here. But the Justice Society of America is still out there somewhere. We still got those cats doing something. So are they on the side of Black Adam, or is Black Adam um, sort of an anti-hero in this regard? We'll find out when trailers start dropping and we get some more regarding the plot. But for now, Sabak has been revealed to be in the Black Adam movie, which will definitely be a theatrical release.
Yeah, I think his name is Ishmael Gregor, is the person, just like we have a human being, that's given the powers of the god, and they have to say Shazam. Same thing, but when they say the name, they're imbued with the power of hell,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's again pretty interesting sort of reveal that there might be a big bad in Black Adam. Again, Black Adam is sort of a villain in his own right, in his own regard, and he's gone toe to toe with Shazam. He's gone toe to toe with Superman, and so it's really interesting now if they decide to sort of push Black Adam towards the hero side a little bit, because they've already done that with Venom, right? And not all fans are on board with that. Um,
It's not
Deadpool's always been like right in the middle, but he's sort of leaning more towards the hero side, so he's not ever really 100%
Deadpool's a
evil.
more faithful adaptation from what you see in the comic books and video games
Yeah,
versus Venom, what you see on the big screen. I think that's what a lot of the major, big time nerds like myself have an issue with.
I agree. I agree. Um, Skipping to some news that I know JC is all about, and Jericho as well. We released a story that Scott Pilgrim is getting an anime series on Netflix, and this would probably be a more truthful adaptation of the comic series for Netflix, but the original co-creators are actually bringing the anime series to life, and so no release date yet. But JC is ecstatic. Jericho's also ecstatic. We're getting a Scott Pilgrim series coming straight to Netflix.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. I introduced this to my daughter, and she loves Scott Pilgrim. She loves the video game, and she also loves the movie. But she likes reading the graphic novels.
Absolutely. And we love the movie. I need to see it again in theaters. I don't know when I'll get another chance. They just celebrated like a major milestone anniversary like 2 years ago, I think. But
Yeah,
it'll be exciting if I get to see it again. Maybe we'll just run out of theater and we'll do our own little screening of it. Huh? We'll do that. How about that?
do that. You could do that when before the Netflix series comes out. That'd be dope.
That would be dope, right? That'd be a way for us to celebrate. There you go, folks. We just announced it right now. Scott Pilgrim screening party to celebrate the new series. Time and event day will be released at a later time. So yeah,
I
stay
wonder if they
tuned.
would let us have the movie. We could see the movie and then immediately afterwards watch like the first episode of the anime. That would be pretty bad.
No, they won't. There's major policy restrictions when it comes to content that's only on streaming services.
No, really, because they don't have the license to show it.
Nope, no, they don't. So yeah, that's the only obstacle there. In other news, The Boys are back. Season 3 of The Boys TV series will drop June 3rd on Amazon Video, and everybody's waiting for that one. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. A lot of great new additions to that series. Can't wait for that. And this is one that I wanted to show you, Joe. This was, I don't want to say it's what the new Avengers team for sure is going to look like, but there was there was this art photo that was released or revealed, and it only has current members of the Avengers group and Marvel MCU characters, with our original heroes who have passed sort of faded out in the background. And the biggest, newest additions are Thor, more specifically, Rune King Thor, and then of course you got Jane Foster as Thor as well. But your thoughts, Joe, on Thor's new OP look?
I don't know, man. It's like it looks alright. He kind of looks more like a transformer or somebody and wearing some type of exoskeleton than Thor. But well, I have to see it in live action to see what I really think about it. This is just a rendition, like a drawing or something. So
It
looks
is
okay.
it is promotional art though. This has been um, confirmed by a couple of sources, I believe. And what's interesting is this is probably, where's my cursor? This is probably Scarlet Witch here. Kind of see a little bit of the tiara there. And this could be the new Black Panther. It's kind of what that suit looks like, right?
I don't know. It's gonna be
It
interesting.
looks like the necklace, right? Sort of the neck lining right there of the Black Panther suit,
Yeah,
whoever that might be.
kind of does. But there looks like there are probably some other characters that we're not seeing because it's just a quick shot. You can see the Wasp in there. I don't see Ant Man though.
Ooh, good call, good call. Yeah, here's Wasp. No Ant Man. Groot's teenage Groot's little Game Boy.
You see Kamala.
Okoye, Miss Marvel. What was that?
I said it was I thought her name was Kamala.
Oh yeah,
Character.
yeah. That's well, it's Miss Marvel, but yeah, her character name is Kamala. Yeah, and of course we got the Iron Spidey suit.
But if you see the Iron Spidey suit, remember nobody remembers who Peter Parker is anymore, and he was donning the OG spider suit. So if he's wearing the this suit, then maybe something happened.
Ooh, that's a good question. I wonder why they would do that. Interesting. There could be a reason. We'll find out.
Could be,
But
but
yeah,
you're not going to show the Iron Spider suit because he doesn't have access to that anymore.
no, not
People
at
don't
all.
remember who he is anymore. So nothing works for him other than he has his powers. He can make his own suit, which I thought the OG suit at the end of No Way Home was a really good callback.
Oh, fantastic! It was awesome. We still need to get your thoughts on it. JC, we haven't talked to JC about it yet. Jericho, we haven't talked to Jericho about it yet. And Rob, we still haven't heard from Rob. So we actually need to go ahead and get sort of a roundtable discussion together, maybe next week,
Yeah,
regarding.
I thought it was one of the best Spidey films out there.
Oh, by
And
far, yeah.
I'd still have to say that to me, just sentimental reasons, it's always going to be Spidey 2, with Doc Ock, Tobey Maguire. To me, that was a really good Spider-Man movie. I'd have to put that one way up there. This one, is going to be a close second, but it's almost taken over Spidey 2, but because of all you know, the cast of characters, should I say, but it wouldn't be made possible without the OG Spidey films.
Yeah, I agree. Also wanted to mention that in, well, more like 2 days. In 2 days' time, is the premiere of Peacemaker. And if the schedule still holds true, they're dropping the first 3 episodes on opening day. I don't know if it's been announced that way, but based on one of the schedules that I looked at, it said episodes 1 through 3 gonna drop on the 13th. So the 13th, which is Thursday. So be ready next week because we're gonna be talking about whatever episodes they drop for Peacemaker, and I can't wait. It's something that we don't need to take seriously. It's going to be ridiculous.
It's
It's
hilarious.
going to be insane. It's going to be hilarious, and so we're just going to go with it and have a good time.
Good casting
Um,
behind his dad, though, by the way.
who you said they cast his dad?
Yeah, I thought they had a flashback there in, like, one of the trailers where they showed
I
his dad.
I haven't seen it. I stopped watching the trailers, I'm just like, "I don't wanna see the whole show. I wanna be
Yeah.
surprised." So
No,
I
it's
didn't see that one
quick.
yet.
Yeah, it was a quick intro where they showed the dad and thought that was, hilarious. And you gotta go back and see that as it gets closer. Maybe you'll want to.
Yeah, and, sort of the last bit of news, which isn't, exciting to talk about by any means, but, we've lost a lot of greats in the entertainment world. Betty White, Sidney Poitier, and, now, unfortunately, was the passing of, Danny Tanner, our father from TV, Bob Saget, who they still don't know exactly what happened, and that's okay. It's not important to know exactly what went wrong, but he's no longer with us, and we didn't know him personally, but he did spend a lot of our childhoods sort of teaching us
Yeah, he was a
morals,
TV
and
dad.
there you go, TV dad and all that stuff. Up, 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 up. Yeah. So we bid sad farewell to Bob Saget, who passed away, um, sort of on some unexpected, unknown reasons for now. I'm sure more news will come out about it later. It probably was health related from all the things that they've already sort of ruled out. But he, like I mentioned, we spent a quite amount of time, watching him, um, on TV, and then my family and I, we watched sort of the Full House reboot, and it was just as entertaining, sort of, as the original, from what I can remember. So
Fuller
it
House.
was Fuller House. There you go. It was quite a good time, but yeah, I know a lot of his co-stars and his family and his friends are just having a really tough time right now.
Yeah, it unfortunately, Fuller House met its demise because of the fiasco that broke with, Lori Loughlin and all that nonsense.
They had a decent run though. They had, 5, maybe 6 seasons, and I'm like, that's a pretty solid run to go off a reboot, I think.
Oh, and by the way, the casting of John Cena's dad in Peacemaker is Robert Patrick, so you gotta check
Oh,
it
no
out.
way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it was a great casting, but you gotta watch that trailer, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I'll go check that out, man. Cool. And that's going to do it for us on this episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. Again, we want to hear from you. What was your favorite part of episode 2 of the Book of Boba Fett? Drop it in the comments or send us a message on Facebook by clicking that send message button. Or you can always email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowntothegeekcast.com. For the Geekcast, my name is Steady. Next week, we'll be talking about episode 3 of the Book of Boba Fett, and we'll also be talking about the premiere of Peacemaker, which should be just a laugh out loud good time, hopefully. I really want to be entertained, and James Gunn knows how to do that, so I'm looking forward to it, and can't wait to talk about it. My name is Steady. With me on this episode is the man behind the magic, the one and only Joe Garcia.
Thank you everybody for watching, make sure you subscribe, like, share, and also, we'd appreciate if you can go ahead and, leave us a nice review on the Apple Podcast platform. We greatly appreciate it, helps us grow, and, like I said, we this wouldn't be possible without the support of the fans, so thank you all for watching, greatly appreciate you.
We'll see you next week. Have a good night, folks.